Help me reach 12,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. She was at the bathroom mirror in a dress I'd never seen, tapping a powder brush like she was late for a photo shoot. Purse open, phone on the counter, heels waiting by the door. No hello. No, how was your day? Just a stranger polishing herself for somewhere I wasn't invited. Where are you going? I asked. Out, she said, still drawing a line along her eyelid. Club. Girls' night. I'll be late. Meaning after midnight. She put the cap on the liner with a click. Meaning don't wait up. I don't want you at those places, I replied. Not interested in that in my house, in my marriage. Your house. She finally looked at me in the mirror. Relax, Mark. It's a club, not a crime scene. You walk in there single, I said. You walk out of here single. She laughed into the brush. That's adorable. If I'd known where it was headed, I'd have started packing right then. I hung up my keys, took a breath, and gave her one more attempt at something healthy. Stay, I said. Cook with me. Let's just have a normal night, talk like grown-ups. I already ate, she said, pushing past me to the bedroom. And I don't need permission. You need to respect the marriage, I answered, following to the doorway. If you want that life, say it. Don't run laps around the ring and call it cardio. Thanks for the speech, she said, throwing her hair up. We're done. No, I corrected. We start now. Rule 1, no clubs. Rule 2, if you want to be out late, it's with me or with family. Rule 3, if you want freedom, say freedom, not girls' night. She undid her hair tie just to redo it. Rule 4, don't bother me when I'm doing my makeup. I'm not negotiating with your mascara, I told her. I'm setting a boundary. Boundary noted. She smirked, walking for the door. Ignored. I stepped aside. Then we'll change how we live here. She paused, finally feeling the weight in my voice. What does that even mean? Access, I said. To me. To my time. To our money. You'll feel it. Threats don't suit you, she tossed. They wrinkle. Consequences aren't threats, I replied. She left her perfume cloud and the front door shut like a punchline. I didn't slam anything. I didn't text a paragraph. I got out the file box with the budgets, opened my laptop, and began. Joint card paused. Automatic transfers separated. Grocery budget reallocated to my card. The house account stayed funded, mortgage, utilities, but the fun money train hit a wall. I moved my workshop hours earlier, notified my foreman Carl I'd be in at 6 the next morning, and rescheduled the weekend barbecue I'd planned for both families. Rain check. I told my mother-in-law in a simple text. She sent back a thumbs up and a heart, unaware she'd witnessed a line getting painted. When Ashley drifted in at 2-something, she didn't creep. Music rattled a glass on the coffee table. She laughed into the darkness like the room was an audience. I watched from the hallway, arms folded. Big night. I asked. Oh, you're awake, she said, breezing to the kitchen. Don't worry. We didn't lose electricity without your permission. I meant what I said, I told her. Starting now. She opened the fridge. Do you want a medal or a sticker? You can keep the sarcasm, I replied. You can't keep the card. I set a small envelope on the counter. New rules sheet. Read in the morning. She took the envelope with 2 fingers like it was contaminated. You made a rule sheet? Are we in summer camp? We're in a marriage, I said, then moved to the guest room with my pillow. I wasn't making a speech. I was moving the goalposts with my feet. I'm sorry, what? She called after me. You're sleeping in there? For now, I said. We'll revisit when respect does. Her laugh followed me down the hall. This is bizarre, she said. Good night, Captain. My reply was the lamp turning off. The next morning, she shuffled in while I was packing a cooler for the job site. She didn't look at the sheet. She didn't ask about my schedule. She looked at the fruit like it owed her rent. You're being dramatic, she said. I'm being consistent, I corrected. We'll be fine if we align on standards. We won't be fine if this keeps up. So I can't go out ever? She took a banana and peeled it like she was punishing it. I'm not 17. Then act like you're married, I answered. We build a life or we don't. Choose. She bit the banana and shook her head. You just want control. It's unattractive. I want respect, I said, closing the cooler. That looks good on both of us. She waved at the envelope with the peel. Your rules are going straight to the junk drawer. They're not for the drawer, I said. They're for the door. If they don't stick, it opens. Yeah, yeah, she muttered. Lecture over? I left it at that. At work, Carl caught my eye around 9 while I planed a piece of oak. You look like you slept in a toolbox, he said. Everything all right? Domestic turbulence, I said. I'm tightening bolts. Keep it off the equipment, he smirked, then softened. Set your line early. Saves over time. Already drawing it, I told him, and I was. The pattern didn't improve. Ashley escalated with a smile. She stopped texting back during the day. She'd come home at weird hours, no explanation beyond chill. She started needling me in small ways. Eye rolls, smirks, little digs about your old man's schedule, about how I wouldn't last 10 minutes downtown, about how our dinners were dull. I didn't beg. I shrank the shared calendar to functional entries. I canceled our streaming subscription she loved and replaced it with a free channel of documentaries I liked. Not a punishment, just a signal. I stopped planning couples nights. I shifted my gym time to early morning and blocked it off. When she asked why I wasn't free one evening for a friend's birthday she'd invited me to last second, I said, that slot is for people who keep me in the loop. Grow up, she said. Already did, I replied. 2 days later, Ashley tried the first soft turn. She left coffee by my keys with a note. Sorry about the other night. I'll be home for dinner. Chicken okay? I read it twice, then texted back. Chicken is fine. Let's talk at 7. At 7, she was on the couch scrolling, dressed down, a little mascara left from the day. She looked up with a smile that wasn't weaponized. Hey, I made something, she said, getting up. The kitchen smelled normal. There were plates. She set one in front of me. Thank you, I said, sitting. I appreciate the effort. She crossed her arms, leaning on the counter. I don't want to fight, she said. I just want to live a little. You can live, I said. Just don't live like you're single while using my name. Her mouth flattened. There it is. We could cut the clubs, I added. Pick dinners, movies, road trips. Real life. Real life is boring, she said, too fast. Then softened. I didn't mean it like that. You did, I answered calmly. Which is useful. So here's the update. If you want that other life, then we separate the money entirely. You cover your fun. I cover the house. We split groceries evenly. Anything beyond that, your call. You're nickel-and-diming me, she said. I'm refusing to sponsor disrespect, I corrected. There's a difference. She picked up her plate. I tried, she said, throwing the words like a towel. You're impossible. I'm consistent, I said again, and I did the dishes without asking. By Friday, she was back to carving lines with a smile. She announced, with Jenna from her gym listening on speaker, that they were doing a girls' trip in the fall and testing the nightlife this weekend. Testing what? I asked. Crowd flow, Jenna chimed in. You wouldn't understand. I understand cause and effect, I said. Ashley laughed. Don't be such a dad, Mark. Be home by midnight, I told her, not raising my voice. If not, you'll find the locks changed. Not to trap you out, just to trap nonsense out. She stared, finally taking me seriously. You wouldn't, she said. Try me, I replied, and I meant it. Saturday morning, her sister Bree stopped by with a plant and an opinion. Bree is sharp, corporate, always calculating. You two need to relax, Bree said, setting the plant where it wasn't needed. She's young. She's my wife, I said, not a volunteer. She wants freedom, not divorce, Bree pushed. Freedom is a word people use when they mean distance without responsibility, I answered. I'm not interested. Don't be rigid, she said. Men who push too hard end up alone. Men who accept disrespect end up worse, I replied. Suit yourself, Bree said, but she didn't leave without looking at Ashley like she'd found leverage. That night, Ashley came home at 12:15. The deadbolt was rekeyed at noon. Not to lock her out, as I'd said. I was there to open. She knocked once. I opened. She rolled her eyes. Seriously, she said. I am serious, I answered, then moved aside. Welcome home. She stepped in with a snort. You enjoy this, she muttered. No, I said, locking behind us. I don't enjoy treating adults like teenagers. But I also don't enjoy being treated like furniture. The next week, she tried the second soft turn. She showed up at my workshop with lunch. Carl caught her at the door. You got a visitor, he called across the floor. Dressed like a magazine. Ashley walked in with a brown bag and a smile. Hi, she sang. Peace offering. Carl smirked, and drifted away slow enough to listen. I wiped my hands and nodded at the bag. "What's this?" "Turkey on wheat," she said. "I know you like simple stuff." "Thanks," I replied. "We can sit out back." We went to the loading dock. She sat on the step, crossed her legs, swayed a shoe. "I overdid it," she started. "The night's out." "I get it." "Do you?" I asked. "You're right," she continued. "Marriage needs balance. I'll cut back. Maybe just one night a month. No clubs. Bars with the girls, but early." "Early means what?" I pressed. 10, she guessed. 9, I countered. "Home by 9. She smiled like a cat. "Okay, 9. We ate in quiet for a minute. Then she set her sandwich down. "One more thing," she said. "We need to host my birthday next month. Big. Everyone at our place. You can handle the grill, right?" There it was. The support my image hook hiding in an apology. "I'll handle the grill," I said. "But we keep it clean. Adults, not chaos." Obviously, she laughed. "I'm not a college kid." She kissed my cheek near my ear like it was a tip. "Thank you," she whispered. Carl watched from 30 feet, eyebrows up. When she left, Carl came back with sawdust on his sleeves. "That felt like a sales call," he said. "It was," I replied. "I'll check the fine print." The fine print showed itself in quiet ways. Her cutting back lasted 5 days. Then it turned into just a late dinner with Jenna and Bree. Then we bumped into some people. Then don't be weird. I didn't yell. I added a layer to my plan. I moved my personal savings into a separate account under my name only, then set up a temporary rental alert on my phone. I wasn't leaving. I was checking the exits. The birthday party came fast. Our living room filled with Ashley's orbit, friends from her gym, from her office, a neighbor named Tony, a couple I liked, Mike and Sarah, who knew how to behave, and a handful of people who treated a house like a lounge. Music at a sensible level, platters on the counter, me in charge of the grill as promised. I kept it steady. I greeted, I fed, I stayed sober. Mike stood by me, beer in hand he barely touched. "You good, man?" he asked under the smoke. "I'm present," I said. "You?" "I'm present," he echoed, lips curved. "This crowd's a lot." "Understatement," I said, flipping chicken. Inside, Ashley circulated like a mayor. She'd touch a shoulder, improvise a joke, refill glasses that didn't need refilling. When she passed me, she didn't touch me beyond a pat, like you'd give a coworker. That wasn't an accident. That was a message. The second message came an hour later when the conversation migrated to relationships. Someone said something about compromise. Someone else lobbed in a line about men being controlling. Jenna laughed loudly. Bree saw the opening. "Come on," Bree called from the couch, voice bright. "Ash could have anyone. Mark's lucky she's even home most nights." People went quiet in that way a room does when it knows it's on the edge of something. I set down the tongs, wiped my hands, and walked in. "Lucky goes both ways," I said, leaning on the doorway. "Or it should." Ashley twirled her glass. "Oh, it's fine," she told the room like a host calming a dog. "We joke." Jenna grinned. "Talk about the rules, Ash." "What rules?" Tony asked. Ashley's eyes flicked at me and back to her audience. "He thinks clubs are beneath our marriage," she said. "He's very standards." "It's cute." Mike coughed into his fist. Sarah touched his arm, eyes sharp. I didn't step forward. I raised an eyebrow. "Standards keep the floor from falling out," I said. Jenna rolled her eyes. "You're like a principal." Ashley, chasing the laugh, lifted her glass and, without a trace of hesitation, spoke the line that decided our future. "Honestly," she said, smiling right at me, "I could sign the papers tomorrow. I'd do it on a bet for $100. The laugh landed hard with Jenna and Bree. The rest of the room looked away like the ceiling had become fascinating. $100. She tossed it like confetti. I didn't freeze. I didn't deliver a speech. I pulled my wallet from my back pocket, peeled off 10 hundreds, and flipped them onto the coffee table so the band wrapped itself in confidence. The bills sat there like a green period. "Tomorrow at noon," I said. No heat, no tremor, just a schedule. The room exhaled like it had been punched. Jenna's mouth fell open. Bree found the plant from earlier fascinating. Mike didn't move. Ashley blinked 3 times, smile frozen like a sticker that wouldn't peel. "What?" she said finally, a little laugh clinging to the word. "You named the bet," I answered. I raised it. "Tomorrow at noon." "You're not serious," she managed. "I'm precise." I replied, and I wiped my hands on a towel and put my keys in my pocket. Mike started. Enjoy the rest, I told him quietly. Watch the house. Keep it intact. Done, he said, jaw tight. Ashley stood, glass still in hand. Where are you going? She asked, half laughing, half reaching for control. Hotel, I said. I don't share a roof with someone who auctions me off like a joke. You can't leave your own party, Jenna sniped, trying to salvage a show. Watch me, I said, and I walked out. I didn't leave the music too loud or slam the door or post a quote on social media. I booked a room, sent Mike a single text, thank you, and slept like a man who'd told the truth for the first time in months. At 11:45 the next day, I sat in a lawyer's office with a pen and a clear head. I had called at 8. The receptionist squeezed me in, probably more for the tone than the story. The lawyer, a woman in her 50s named Laura, glanced over the intake form and nodded. You look like you already decided, she said. I have, I told her. I'm not interested in dragging this. You own the house prior to marriage, she confirmed. No kids. Separate retirement. Clean. If both parties are willing, we can prepare the paperwork today. If not, we'll still file. You ready for pushback? I'm ready for silence, I said, which means I'm also ready for noise. Fair, she said. We'll draft. Noon tomorrow would have been tidy, but noon today will do. Today, I said. We signed. I paid. I sent a simple text to Ashley at 1. Paperwork initiated. Noon was your idea. I honored it. No reply. Not that day, not that night. The house stayed loud on social and photos that didn't include me. Jenna posted a story of freedom with glitter. Bree posted a plate. No one tagged me. It was supposed to sting. It didn't. It confirmed my math. I didn't go back, not even for socks. I bought clothes at a strip of stores near the hotel and booked a month-to-month place across town that afternoon. A small furnished rental with a decent kitchen and a tiny balcony over a parking lot. You can live just fine with a bed and a table if your head is quiet. At work, Carl nodded at my new address like he'd been waiting. You want afternoons off this week? He asked. Paperwork and such. I'm good, I said. I already handled the front end. All right, he said, and left it alone. A week passed. No calls. No texts. Quiet from Ashley like silence was her victory. I wasn't baited. I set up my new morning routine, drove to work early, ate at my new table alone, and felt clean about it. I stopped by the old house once, midday, when I knew she'd be out, to pick up a box of tools. I left the key on the kitchen counter next to a note. Deliver mail to Laura's office. Thank you. That was the only letter I owed her. On day 8, my phone lit up with her name. I let it ring once, then answered. Finally, she began, no hello, no question. I need money. For what? I asked, neutral. Rent from my friend's place. Groceries. My card isn't going through. Fix it. You're asking for money. I clarified, not a question. I'm telling you to transfer it, she shot back. Now. No, I said, and kept my tone flat. What did you say? She snapped. You heard me. I answered, and hung up. 10 seconds later, she called again. I was still looking at the phone when it lit. Don't hang up on me, she said when I connected. You're being ridiculous. We're married. You don't get to cut me off. I'm not your husband anymore, I said. I paid you 10 times your bet, and I filed. I'm done funding your free time. You filed? Her voice cracked from sure to shocked. You filed? It was a joke. For you? I said. For me, it was the last line. Don't call again. You can't do this to me, she shouted. You can't just. I ended the call and blocked the number. My hands didn't shake. I set the phone face down and looked out at the parking lot. A couple argued next to a rusted sedan, then laughed and hugged. People play games everywhere. I just resigned from mine. Ashley didn't stop. She tried from other phones. She tried Jenna's. Answer her. Coward. Blocked. She tried Bree's. Be an adult. Blocked. She texted Mike. He forwarded me the messages. She's looking for you at work, Mike wrote. Told her not to. She can look, I replied. She won't see much. 2 days later, she was waiting by my truck at the workshop when I came out with Carl. It was lunch break. Bright sun would smell. She wore a hoodie and sunglasses like incognito meant sincere. We need to talk, she said. Carl looked at me. You want me here? He asked. You can stay. I told him, then addressed her. Short. To the point. I don't have access, she said. You did something to the cards. Fix it. I separated finances, I said. As promised. I can't even get gas, she threw. You can call a ride, I replied. You have a phone. You're punishing me, she insisted. No, I said. I'm ending participation. You wanted your life. Live it with your wallet. You can't just cut me off, she repeated. You're out of the house next month, I replied. Lease ends. The deed isn't yours. You know that. Pack with dignity. You're actually doing this, she said, as if hearing it from me made it real. I did it a week ago, I answered. Carl cleared his throat like a referee. We're on a schedule, he said. If you two need a room, take it off-site. Ashley turned to him. Can you believe this? After everything I put into that house. I'm an old carpenter, Carl said. We don't gossip. We measure. He measured. That's all I got. She looked back at me, sunglasses off now, eyes sharp. You'll regret this. I gave you chance after chance, I said. You gave me a punchline. It was a joke, she repeated, worn thin. A good joke needs timing, I said. You misread the room. She planted her hands in her hoodie pocket like she had a weapon there and came up with nothing but air. So that's it. Nothing. Nothing, I answered. She inhaled. Calculating. We can fix this, she tried, softer now. Dinner tonight. I'll make your favorite. We'll talk. That was your first move, I said. And your second. We're past the third. Don't do this, she said, the cadence changing. Not a plea. A command misfiring. Goodbye, Ashley, I said, and I turned back to the shop. Carl followed. That was clean, he murmured. It was overdue, I said. The attempts kept coming, not apologetic, not reflective. They were demands in prettier wrapping. Messages through my mother, she's upset, just talk, which I asked Mom to ignore. Messages through Bree, you're making a mistake, which I declined with a thumbs down. Even Jenna left a voicemail calling me controlling and cheap, as if they'd suddenly decided my character had changed because I wasn't paying for their weekends. Mike met me for lunch one day on the workbench out back. He brought a sandwich and an observation. She told people you're having a midlife moment, he said. I told them you're having a standards moment. Appreciated, I said. Anything you need, he asked. Space, I answered. And a witness if she shows up again. Otherwise, I'm good. Done, he said. Weeks went by. Laura handled the filings with the efficiency of a veteran. I signed where needed. Ashley didn't contest because contesting requires strategy and savings, and she had neither. The house, which I'd bought long before we met, was never on the table. The car in my name was my car. The accounts I'd split stayed split. She'd built a life inside mine and expected it to continue under the same roof after turning me into a punchline. The roof was closing. A month out from the party, the property manager, who handled the lease under my LLC, sent me a message. Occupant overdue. Notice posted. I asked him to give the standard grace period and then enforce. He did. When he called to say she'd been served notice to vacate, I didn't celebrate. I noted the time and date and went back to sanding a table I was building for a client. It came out clean. So did my life. The last time I saw Ashley was the day she came to collect the last of her things. She chose noon like it was a magic hour. I arrived at 11:30 with a couple of boxes, not to help, but to ensure it stayed civil. Mike stood by the door to keep it tidy. Sarah sat in her car at the curb in case we needed a witness with calm eyes. Ashley walked in with Bree and two friends. She glanced around like the walls had betrayed her. You emptied your side, she observed, seeing the guest room stripped. I don't live here, I said. You could have, she said, picking up a framed photo she didn't need. You chose drama. I chose peace, I said. You had choices too. Don't start, Bree hissed. I'm finishing, I replied. I'm here to see you out. That's all. Ashley tried one more tactic, the big fake warmth. She came close enough to touch my sleeve. We're better than this, she said softly. We can reset. I looked at her hand near my arm and then at her eyes. We're exactly this, I said. And we're done. She pulled her hand back, eyes cooling to what they'd been for months. Fine, she said. You'll be alone with your rules. I'm never alone with my respect, I replied. She scoffed, directed her friends, filled boxes. There was no tantrum, just the kind of brittle silence people use when they still think they're winning something. By one, they were gone. Mike leaned on the door frame, exhaled, and shook his head. You did what you said you'd do, he observed. That's the point, I said. He looked at the empty space on the wall where the TV had been. You're replacing that. I like quiet, I said, picking up my keys. On my way out, I left one thing on the kitchen counter. A single envelope with a receipt from Laura's office. Not a threat, not a taunt. A fact. When Ashley returned the keys through the slot later that day, that was the sound of a chapter closing. People like to pretend endings are loud. Most of them aren't. They're a pen on paper, and then a wallet in a pocket, and then a man walking to his truck without looking back. It's been months now. My mornings have a rhythm I didn't realize I missed. Up early, coffee made how I like it. Gym before anyone else, shop by 6. I bought a used SUV and tuned it myself. I picked up a small place outside of town with a wide driveway and a little shed I turned into a hobby room. On Sundays, I take a long drive to the lake and sit with a thermos while I plan the week. I keep the house quiet on purpose. Peace has a sound. It's not silence, it's dignity. There's someone new. Her name is Tessa. She doesn't perform, she participates. She asks questions, she listens. She likes small diners and early mornings. We don't make promises we can't keep. We keep the ones we make. I don't drag the past into our conversations. I don't audition. I show up. So does she. I hear things about Ashley now and then. Not because I ask, because information travels. She moved in with a friend, then out, then into a smaller place farther from downtown. The nights out continued for a while, then slowed. That's not my business. What I know is this. She didn't get the house. She didn't get the car. She didn't get my time. She got exactly what she bought with a joke, distance, at a generous price. People sometimes ask, usually men around my age, what the turning point was. They want a moment they can circle. It was simple. It was a sentence at my own table with my friends listening, where she priced our marriage like a bar bet. She demanded an audience and a stage. I gave her a deadline and a bill. The last thing I ever said to her was at that counter, the day she moved the final box to the door. She paused, waiting for something tender or dramatic. She got what she earned. For you it was a joke, I told her. For me it was the end. Take care, Ashley. She lifted her chin like she was about to reclaim some lost word, but there wasn't one. There was a door. It opened. She walked through it into the life she said she wanted. I closed it behind her and locked it once. Not to keep her out, to keep my standards in.